I found out my wife was falling for her trainer. While I trusted her with everything, I thought my wife was just busy with the gym. But then I saw the texts. Lately, I've been noticing something strange about my wife. We've been married for 5 years, together for 7. She's never been the secretive type. But over the past couple of months, things have felt off. It started small, subtle, but unsettling. She suddenly became ultra protective of her phone, like death grip level. She used to leave it lying around, face up, without a care. Now it's either in her pocket or screen down, always locked. Even in the bathroom. I brushed it off at first. Everyone deserves privacy, right? But then came the gym obsession. She got a new personal trainer about 4 months ago. I was all for it, proud of her, honestly. But then she started going almost every day, spending hours there. She'd come home exhausted and vague about what she did. When I'd ask her, "How was your workout?" she'd just say, "Tiring," or "I pushed hard today," and change the subject. Then came the silence. She stopped talking to me about her day, stopped sharing funny stories or asking about mine. Meals became quiet. Her eyes constantly flicked to her phone, and every time a notification buzzed, she'd glance at me before answering, like she was checking to see if I noticed. I noticed. Of course I did. I'm not an idiot. I just didn't want to believe what my gut was screaming. The final straw came on a Thursday night. I walked into the living room to grab my charger and caught a glimpse of her phone screen. She was lying on the couch, scrolling and smiling. It was a text thread. The name at the top? Jay. And the last message? "Can't stop thinking about what you said yesterday." Her smile disappeared the second she realized I was behind her. She quickly locked her phone and sat up, startled. "What?" she asked, trying to sound casual. I didn't answer. I just stared at her. My heart was thudding in my ears. That night, I couldn't sleep. Who the hell is Jay? The next day, while she was at the gym, I did something I swore I'd never do. I went through our shared iPad, which, thankfully, was still synced to her messages. What I found made me nauseous. The texts between her and Jay went back weeks. Playful banter, emotional confessions, late-night messages. They weren't overtly sexual, at least not all of them, but it was clearly an emotional affair. Things like, "You always know how to make me feel seen. Wish I could talk to you all night. He doesn't get me the way you do." The worst part? She'd told Jay things she never told me. Deep stuff. Personal fears. Dreams. Memories. She was giving pieces of herself to this man. Pieces I thought belonged to us. I didn't confront her that night. I needed to think. Process. Not explode. But I started watching. Closely. She became more secretive. Started going for walks to clear her head. Claimed she needed space. Said I was being clingy. Me, the man she once called her rock. It broke something in me. So I started preparing. Quietly. I opened a separate bank account. Moved half my paycheck there. Backed up important files. Documented her odd behavior. And then, I asked her to go on a weekend trip. Just the two of us. She hesitated. I saw the panic in her eyes. But she agreed. We went to the mountains. No signal, no distractions. Just silence and cold air and unspoken tension. On the second night, by the fire, I asked her, "Are you happy?" She looked at me like I'd slapped her. What kind of question is that? An honest one. She was quiet for a long time. Then she whispered, "I don't know." Her answer shattered me, but I stayed calm. "Is there someone else?" Another pause. Tears welled up in her eyes. "Not like that. I mean, I didn't mean for anything to happen." My stomach turned. "So there is someone." She nodded. "It's just texting. Just talking." I didn't cheat. But she had. Emotionally. Deeply. She'd turned away from me and toward him. Shared things with him. Led him into spaces that used to belong to us. I felt humiliated. Hollowed out. She begged for forgiveness. Said she felt lonely. That I'd become distant. That she just wanted to feel understood. I asked, "Who is he?" And she said the one name I didn't expect. "Jay, my trainer." I stood up from the fire, staring into the woods. Part of me wanted to scream. Part of me wanted to laugh. But all I could think was, she fell for her trainer, while I was home raising our son, trusting her completely. After she confessed, we sat in silence for a long time. The fire crackled. The wind outside howled. And I just stared at her. I wasn't even angry at that moment. Just numb. She tried to explain. Said it wasn't about him. It was about how she felt. That she felt invisible. Disconnected. Like we were just coexisting. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered. "He listened. That's all. He made me feel alive. Those words stuck with me. Alive. Like I'd been the one slowly killing her by simply being consistent, devoted, present. Like loyalty was a slow poison. We went home the next day, but nothing was the same. She offered to cut contact with Jay, swore she'd delete his number, block him, change trainers. She even cried as she said it. But something in me had already shifted. I couldn't unsee it, couldn't unfeel that ache. She hadn't just drifted. She'd chosen someone else, with intention, repeatedly. For the next few weeks, we tried. Couples counseling, deep talks, date nights. But every time I looked at her, I saw the shadows of those messages. Her stolen smiles, her late-night walks, her silence. Our son noticed too. He once asked, "Why doesn't mommy laugh anymore?" I didn't know how to answer. Then came the worst moment. I picked up our son from school one day, and he handed me a drawing. It was our family, him, me, and the dog. No mommy. When I asked him about it, he just shrugged and said, "Mommy's always gone." That hit me harder than anything else ever could. That night, I made a decision. We put our son to bed. I walked into the living room and sat across from her. "I'm done." She looked up, confused. "Done with what?" "Us. This thing we've been trying to force. I can't do it anymore." Her face twisted. "So that's it. You're just giving up. You gave up first. The night you let him into your heart." She started to cry, but I didn't comfort her this time, because I was finally comforting myself. Crescent moon post-breakup fallout. We separated. She moved in with her sister. I stayed with our son. Took on everything. School runs, meals, bedtime stories. It was hard, lonely, but peaceful. No more second-guessing. No more wondering what secret smile was hiding behind her screen. I learned to find joy again in the quiet, in my boy's laughter, in the way the house no longer held its breath waiting for drama. Envelope with arrow 2 months later. She sent me a message. "I miss us. I made a mistake. Jay was never worth it." But it was too late. I didn't reply. Some things, once broken, don't get rebuilt. Not because of spite, but because you finally remember your worth. I'm not saying I was a perfect husband, but I was real, present, loyal. And in the end, that mattered more than anything. Sometimes the person who betrays you thinks it's a one-time thing, but the scar it leaves becomes part of who you are and who you refuse to be again. She said she had business trips, but she had a second family. I always thought I had a stable marriage. Not perfect, but solid. 12 years, 1 son, mortgage, 2 cars, matching Christmas pajamas every year. You know, the picture of suburban stability. My wife, Clara, worked in pharmaceutical sales. That meant occasional travel, usually once, sometimes twice a month. A few days here, a weekend there. It was just part of the job. And honestly, I admired how committed she was. I trusted her completely, until I didn't. It started with a stupid detail. A receipt. I was cleaning out her car while she was out shopping, vacuuming the mats, tossing out trash. That's when I saw it. A printed receipt for a family meal at an Italian restaurant. Dated from the weekend, she was supposedly at a medical conference in Denver. It wasn't the receipt itself, it was what was on it. For meals. 1 kid's lasagna. We have 1 kid, and he was with me that weekend. So, whose kid ate the lasagna? At first, I told myself it was nothing. Maybe she treated a client and their family. Maybe the waiter made a mistake on the receipt. Maybe I was being paranoid. But that little seed of doubt, once planted, started to grow. And the more I looked, the more things started to feel wrong. I began checking our shared calendar. Her travel didn't always line up with the emails she forwarded me. Her hotel confirmations had missing dates. She'd avoid FaceTiming during certain trips, claiming bad Wi-Fi. Then one night, she left her laptop open. She never does that. I wasn't even snooping, not really. I just noticed her email was open. And right there, in the inbox, was a thread titled, "Weekend Schedule, The Cabin." I clicked, and I swear, my heart stopped. It was her writing to someone named Nathan, talking about groceries, board games, hiking plans, and Jake's soccer game on Sunday. Jake? There was no client, no conference. She had a whole other life. I didn't confront her right away. I needed more. Not because I didn't believe what I saw, I did, but because a part of me wanted to be wrong. So I followed her on her next trip. She said she was going to a networking retreat in Asheville. I said, "Have fun. Love you." She kissed me goodbye like she always did. And I drove. For hours later, I found the cabin. I parked at a distance, behind a row of trees, and watched. My hands were shaking. Then I saw her, wearing sweatpants and no makeup, her cozy look. The version of her I thought was reserved for our home. But there she was, hugging a man. Tall, beard, maybe mid-40s. And then a boy came running out. She scooped him up and twirled him like a mother. I didn't take a photo. I didn't cry. I just sat there, completely still, as my entire life collapsed in on itself. The woman I loved, the woman I built a life with, had another family. A man, a child, a double existence. And I had no idea how long it had been going on. I drove home in silence. Didn't sleep that night. Didn't eat the next day. I stared at my son as he played on the floor and thought, does he deserve to grow up learning that love can be fake? When Clara came home, smiling like nothing had happened, I simply asked, how was Asheville? She froze, and I knew the mask was about to fall off. She didn't answer right away, just stood there, grocery bag in one hand, keys dangling in the other. How was Asheville? I asked again, calm. Too calm. Her eyes flicked sideways. She forced a smile. Fine. Long drive. Tiring. I nodded slowly. Yeah. I bet the cabin was cozy. Did Jake enjoy the hike? That did it. Her face went pale. The grocery bag hit the floor with a dull thud. You followed me. I didn't say anything. I didn't have to. She sat down on the edge of the couch like her legs gave out. Mouth trembling. Eyes wide. Like she was seeing me. Really seeing me. For the first time in years. And I saw something in her I hadn't seen before. Fear. Not the I'm messed up kind. The everything's unraveling kind. She didn't deny it. Not once. Just whispered, it's not what you think. But I already knew what it was. What I didn't know was how long. And when I asked her, she didn't lie. Not anymore. 3 years, she said. Since the sales conference in Nashville. I met Nathan there. And the kid. He's not mine biologically. He's Nathan's from a previous marriage. But I help raise him. On the weekends. I felt sick. She'd been playing house. Being a mother. Somewhere else. While I held down the fort, packed school lunches, covered for her work trips. I asked her, why? Tears welled in her eyes. I don't know. I felt trapped. Like I was two different people and didn't know which one was real. So you made yourself a second life? And what were we, Clara? The practice round. She cried harder. But I didn't reach for her. I didn't move. I gave her a choice that night. I told her I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't ruin her career. I wouldn't even tell Nathan. The Lord knows he deserved to know. But I wasn't going to be her backup plan. Her cover story. Her steady second home when the other one got hard. House, she moved out 2 days later. Didn't fight me on custody. Didn't beg to stay. She looked like someone who'd been living a lie so long she forgot how to stand in truth. I filed for divorce the next week. Told our son mommy had a new job and would be staying somewhere else for a while. He didn't cry. He just asked me, will you still be here every day? And I promised I would. And I meant it. Envelope with thorough weeks passed. Clara texted. Emails. Apologies. Guilt. I read them, but never replied. As she offered to talk, to explain everything. But I didn't want an explanation. What I wanted, what I needed, was distance. Hourglass not done now, 6 months later. I'm still picking up pieces. Our son is doing better. He laughs again. We cook pancakes on Saturdays and build Lego cities that take over the living room. And me? I'm healing. One quiet evening at a time. One memory replaced by something real. Speech balloon final words. If you're reading this and wondering whether you're crazy for sensing that something's off, you're not. Your gut knows. Your silence knows. And if they're living a double life, you don't have to be their shadow anymore.